He had symptoms of a stomach virus, and by 5 o'clock that afternoon, he started to pass out. And I called my husband, who was at work in downtown, and I said, there's something really wrong. I think we need to get him to the hospital.
When I put my stethoscope in his chest, somehow the heart rate was way too slow, and kind of told me that there was something wrong.
Looking at his EKG, we noticed he was in complete heart block. As far as what was causing him to be in complete heart block, we weren't quite sure.
I didn't know what was going on, and I just was holding onto his hand, and he just looked at me and he goes, I'm dying, right?
So in 20 years that I've been practicing pediatrics, I have never seen a case like this in a normal, healthy child to have a complete block in the heart. That night was a pretty typical night in the emergency room. He came with symptoms that sort of resemble a common viral illness. I remember I took him in my arms and I took him to the resuscitation room. And when we put him on the monitor, we realized that his heart rate was in the 20s.
They're telling us his heart rate was a 20, and what do you mean? That's like near death. The doctor is saying to us, look, either he may need a pacemaker, he may need a heart transplant. We don't know what's happening. We just have to get him up to ICU now.
I met Harrison when I came into the cardiac ICU at Miami Children's Hospital. He had been admitted to the hospital that evening with a very low heart rate in critical condition and was admitted to the ICU. We knew he had a very low heart rate, but we weren't sure exactly what was the cause.
He was 2 weeks short of being 10 years old, and he's the most athletic kid you've ever met. He does every sport. He doesn't stop until he goes to sleep. And we're like, we just didn't understand. And the doctor was like, his heart is in complete block.
We obviously thought he had a stomach virus, and we were taking him there to get hydrated. And the next thing we know, our whole life is turned around like that, and literally in 5 minutes.
The whole time that we were thinking about what was happening to Harrison, I was very open with the parents, explaining to them the different possibilities and letting them know I was going to contact some other physicians and that we would talk about Harrison's condition. And with great leadership from our cardiology and cardiac ICU and our cardiac surgeons, we were able to offer our patients the experience of the entire medical staff.
After about a week of being in the cardiac ICU, the doctors came to us and said, we got the blood results and we know what caused this. And we're like, what was it? And they said, it's a virus called parvo. And it's very common in toddlers, but it's very benign. They get a fever, they get sometimes a rash, and within a couple days it's done. In his case, the virus attacked his heart.
And at the end of the day, they saved his life.
The ER did a fantastic job of recognizing that this was a cardiac problem, sending Harrison to our cardiac intensive care unit, where we have an entire team ready to take care of children with heart problems.
The first doctor that we encountered after the emergency room doctor, Dr. Valerone, who was like a superhero to us. I mean, he saved him with his quick thinking. But Dr. Katz was the first doctor that was working that evening with him. And he was just so kind and sweet and
calm.
Yeah, and very calm, unlike us.
Well, remember that we're the door to the hospital. We're the first encounter that most patients get with the hospital. The initial diagnosis is what triggers everything else that happens to the patient, and from that depends the success or the failure of any given treatment.
About 3 years ago, the hospital started doing a 5K, and Harrison said, let's do it. So 3 years ago, we started, the four of us and one of Harrison's best friends, and we did the 5K for 2 years. And then this past September, for the third annual run, it's Harrison's bar mitzvah this year. It's in the Jewish religion when you turn 13. He decided for his mitzvah project, he wanted to raise money for the cardiac unit.
After the hospital saved my life, I felt like I have to give back to it because it saved me. So every year I go to the walk. And I also like video games. So there was like this machine thing that I played like video games on, and that helped me like pass the time when I was there. This year, I tried to raise money for it, and I raised a lot of money, and I need $1,200 more for the machine, so I'm almost there. We had these shirts made up for the Harrison Hardy Helpers. It was my team during the 5K run.
He's raised $3,000 as of now, and his goal is to get $1,200 more so he can buy one of those machines for the cardiac unit. And I think he's going to do it.
He'll do it.